for both of these teams.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential Vayne ban, to not let Nono play that again, or at least SK to be prepared for it this time. Thresh might be a possible one as well, because it always seems to give Against All Authority some trouble.
Yeah.
And then, of course, SK, they're going to take away Sona from Corrales, because he always plays that. He had 100%. Actually, if it's available, he always plays Sona, as we'll say.
So, first ban's coming out here, Jarvan, which of course SK have been doing well with in the previous weeks. And Sona, Corrales is #1. There's the Nasus ban as well, which Hercubot has done well with, which, to be honest, everyone's been doing well with in the jungle as well. Yeah, so far 2 bans have been targeted at Hercubot, but that Jarvan also is a target at Ocelot, who played him last week. So they're really trying to limit what Hercubot is allowed to play this game. I wouldn't be too surprised to see their last ban be that, or maybe that Thresh and SK with their next ban. They don't really. The thing is, it's really hard to target any bans against or versus Against All Authority, because yeah, you take the Sona away, but the next 2 you have Frey to choose from, you have Schleyer to choose from, and you have Nona to choose from. It looks like they're actually going to take away Elise, who is also just like Jarvan, one of those champions that could be in any lane. Yeah, it could be put anywhere around there. Kha'Zix's going to be the 3rd and final ban here by Against All Authority, which may mean that Thresh comes through, but we know that Corrales can play Thresh. We know that Nif can play Thresh, so maybe SK will want to take that away. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're actually going to let that slide or not. It always could be, but if Against All Authority is going to invest in that support as their first ban, then it leaves SK open to, get first 2 really good picks, because Volibear still currently is open. Virtual also plays jungle Taric, he has done last week, so there's a lot of champions that could be picked up here, and they do take away the Thresh. So we have Volibear, we have Taric available. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the jungler as the first pick. Well, or a Zed, which has managed to scrape through the bans here. I've been seeing a lot of devastating play from the Zed so far, and that will be Against All Authority's first choice. And SK, I mean, they love Zed. Actually, every team is really prioritizing Zed lately, because he's just such a strong assassination champion. We saw in that last game versus Dragonborns, just how much damage Xpeke could do. You can't cleanse off that ultimate, and when he went in there, Hosan would just get exploded every single time. But it looks like they will pick up their Volibear here. And I wouldn't be surprised for them to maybe go for Sona, maybe just trying to lock that in. Or sorry, Sona's banned. Wow, almost went through with that. But maybe pick up a support here, or give Kevin his Shen. Yeah, the Shen in there for Kevin. That's definitely a strong option for them. And of course, also Volibear in there for Hercubot in the jungle. And you are seeing right now he's taking Flash. After we heard Stupid talk about on the analysis desk, they want. If you're going to go for a really hard engage, he's going to have to take that. You need that sort of just quick engagement instead of that ghost to really get that speed increase. And it looks like they will have a relatively strong front line, because Volibear is trying to be very tanky. But Against Authority with their next picks, they have an assassin for an AD carry. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up a little bit somewhat of like a tanky, well, obviously tanky jungler, but also maybe a tanky mid. I'm going to say mid, because you don't know if Schleyer is going to be there or Freddy anymore. Well, let's see. Lulu is the current choice for Against All Authority. Obviously, that will go over towards Corrales in the support role. And will they take an AD carry here away to have first choice over SK? And it looks like they will. There's the Ezreal for Nono. Yeah, and we know him as an amazing Ezreal. He always loves playing that. It's either that or Vayne now. That Vayne or Varus nowadays. Actually, it seems to be the 3 champions that are always played. Lately. Oh, he switches over to Caitlyn last second. So looks like they're going to be going for that. Actually, a little bit. It's like a passive lane. They could actually be going middle. It's a nice push lane as well when you have the Glitter Lance mixed in with the Piltover Peacemaker. And you also have that nice ability to get away from Volibear. So they have a really safe AD carry, a really safe support at this point. And they have that really strong assassin as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see actually potentially that jungle Taric coming out, or maybe a Xin, because the Taric will give you that nice armor buff. You see the SK can't go for double AP anymore, so that would help. Well, that's one thing that really counters that Taric at all, and that'd be a nice addition to the team. Well, SK here with 25 seconds still to decide what they're going to add in to the Shen and Volibear. Of course, we have seen Ocelot with Twisted Fate. We know, with the Shen in there as well, can be a real problem, especially in the lane phase for the ganks, but also a little bit later on as well when it comes to split pushing. It's a devastating combo. I have to say though, as I actually head over towards Tech, I haven't really been surprised with Ocelot's Twisted Fate. We saw it versus Gambit yesterday. He just seemed to, well, because Alex did get double buffs obviously on his Kha'Zix, he was able to really push Ocelot out, but he didn't seem to be able to get in the groove he needed to get back in that game. But with this nice strong Taric Graves combo, that's going to be a deadly bot lane, or wherever they decide to go in the end, obviously. But Twisted Fate would fit in quite well with this, because you have that nice presence. You have an easy lane top to gank, you have an easy lane bottom to gank, and you can really open up some opportunities for Candy Pen to get fed on his Graves, who, honestly, he's very strong on him. Well, let's see what Against All Authority going to go with here. Currently sat with Kennen.
I think they were hoping for a crowd reaction for that.
No, they weren't.
Oh,
They're
wow.
lock Kennedy in there. And that will get a bit of a crowd reaction once they actually lock it in. The crowd like, yeah, sure, you're not going to go for that one. There is the Udia coming out as well.
We have not seen Virtual play him at all. The only time we have seen him play was on Diamond Prox, who played him, I believe it was week 1 versus EG, and also against KT Rolster B in this last weekend in MLG. That is going to be a very interesting lineup. You have that nice, if he keeps that ghost, you have that nice speed increase from that, the speed increase from your Bear Stance, also Lulu. So you have that ability to get there very quickly. You don't need that flash to really get that strong initiate, and then you basically become a stun bot as the team fights break out. You just sit there in Bear Stance hitting every single member, just trying to lock them down and really interrupt them. But the Kennen, that is a really interesting one. We have not seen him, well, besides AD carry on Jim Bones, that much.
Yeah, I think we've seen him once AP in the top lane,
yeah.
If my memory serves me right. Obviously, we've had a lot of games so far here in the European LCS, but what are SK going to finish off with here in that middle lane then for Ocelot? And a Kale, which completely snuck through.
I was like, just don't say anything, JC's going to pick it really quickly. But yeah, Kale, we've seen Ocelot use him before. It's a nice champion to prevent a lot of bursts. So Kale's going to be a good counter to Zed as the team fights progress, so we'll be able to stop the ultimate damage. But in the laning phase, he should be able to really pressure Zed out as well. So also should have a nice, easy advantage with him if we do see Zed go middle. However, running this Caitlyn, running this Lulu, it makes me think that they might go middle against Ocelot and really try to keep him down in this game, really keep him underfarmed.
Well, it could also be that Kennen in the middle lane with the Zed up in the top lane. We'll have to see what Against All Authority go with here on the switches. Looks like Corellis and Schleyer will be the two to swap that Lulu and Zed combo here. So, Jason, we've got the two lineups in there. Who are you fancying for this one?
I really love seeing Udyr. I really do. He's such a fun champion, but I'll have to give it to SK. They're just so tanky, and they have that kill ultimate just completely shut down Zed. I think they just pretty much completely outpicked Against All Authority here.
Well, you can see the crowd on your screens getting themselves ready for this next matchup. They are pretty hyped still. They just don't realize the camera's on them right now. That's the thing. There we go. Now they realize. It comes onto the big screen here.
Get balls,
get Teemo. That is in there as well. They are still trying to get that Teemo out there, which is only been a troll so far. We've not actually seen, of course, any Teemos coming in here in week 6 of the European LCS. So before we get into game, Jason, talk us through the possibilities at level 1.
Well, level 1, SK has such a strong team right now by having that Taric stun. Also, the armor of the 5th H Taric stun, they've got the pink furry boots. That mixed in with the flip, mixed in with the potential taunt, and then the damage that Kale and Graves can put out can be very devastating against anyone on Against All Authority. But aAa, they have a good team to kind of defend with. The Caitlyn traps can help out quite a bit. The Glitterlands for disengaging. I think if anyone's going to make a move, it would most... Actually, you know what? If anyone's going to make a move, I think it's going to be Against All Authority, just because they're very ballsy. But the team that should make the move is SK.
So here we go then. We're getting game with Against All Authority versus SK Gaming here in week 6 of the European LCS. And again, both teams looking to climb the ladder of that league table with a victory in this one. SK going to be pinging quite furiously onto the top side of the river very early on, so we may see them make some ground up with that one. They obviously want to get vision there as well as early as they can to see if Against All Authority decide to put down any kind of warding.
And we do see red pots coming out yet again. It looks like SK is trying to really set up for this, really reading Against All Authority. If they do try to go for that invade, Freddy is the one that it might be in trouble here if we do see Nif go for him.
Well, Freddy actually will start to back away. Corellis puts in, wow, Flash has burnt there. Nif flashed in to get the stun on towards Freddy. He flashed away straight after that, so no real early action, but there's a pink ward put down by Nif, and that will take away the vision that Against All Authority have put in there.
Okay, this is really key right here because we have Hercubot who has Flash available. If Freddy does go top lane, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. If Hercubot gets that red buff, then goes for an early gank towards the top side, before Freddy does put that ward down, it should be an easy first blood, but they are poised to actually go for a blue still here, but they will be running into a ward at that blue buff. Well,
Freddy's actually on the blue buff itself. As you said, he's got no flash up right now, so certainly can't afford to be getting caught out. SK going to be stood on top of a ward like you said there, but they do have their own vision around that blue buff side. Looks like they might try and take away the walls first.
See, we've seen Fnatic do this before, even last game, where they try to go for this invade onto that blue buff, but they typically ward their own blue, so if the other team does go for invade on their blue, they can potentially stop it. SK is not doing it this time, but it looks like Udyr might, and actually will get spotted right there, crossing over, but now it's up to SK to make a play here. We do see Shen heading down towards that bottom side, and Freddy trying to stick around, maybe just prevent this blue, or just clear the two minions if they do leave him up.
Well, Hercubot going to be taking that blue buff without the use of Smite, so that's the initial bonus there for SK Gaming, as we are going to see them actually coming in here on towards Virtual. Lulu is there with him. Well, Virtual having a few problems. Kale going to come around the side as well. Virtual just trying to get it low enough to smite away, and there he will manage it. So that is the start that they were looking for. Didn't actually finish off his blue buff in the process of that as well.
And they actually did quite a bit of damage to him, but luckily with those health pots, he should be able to sustain quite a bit. We see in the top lane, we did see Freddy actually put the ward down already, so he's going to stop that gank from happening, but it won't spot if Hercubot goes in for a three-man dive on that top side around minute 3.5 in, because you do have that Taric stun, which will lock him down, and that would be first blood if they do go for it. You do see him finally taking that red now, and in the mid lane, you did see Schley get pushed out a little bit, and that's going to be the threat. Also, it's going to be harassing him quite a bit and really keeping him at range.
So this middle lane, Zed versus Kale. Obviously, once Kale is level 6, where Zed also gets a lot more powerful, makes it a lot easier for him to avoid that damage. As Hercubot going to get in there, flashes in for the fling, Ignite is down. There's a flash in from Ocelot, but he may just survive this one here, Schleyer. Just about keeping himself alive. That was close stuff.
That was, I saw a spike of a heal for Schleyer right there, and I was really curious to see what that was. I'm not sure exactly.
It was his pot.
Oh, it was his red pot, thank you. It was his red pot, yeah, so give him that a little bit of extra health just to survive that Ignite. We have Virtual going to stick around in that middle lane just to make sure they don't dive on top of him. But Hercubot, instead of going top lane to go for that kill, I know I keep stressing it, but it seems like a pretty much guaranteed kill. He went mid lane, tried to give Osai even more of an advantage.
Hercubot there just stood right on top of a ward, which is... he's going to walk away from at some point here soon in the future. We can see that Candy Planner and Nif already pressuring, but look at that damage. That push lane of Lulu Caitlyn is already winning out here nicely. 4 against all authority. Lulu actually tanking the turret there, but no, one more hit will take it down. First turret after 4 minutes.
Okay, we've seen this happen before with against all authority. If they're going to take a turret that early, they have to make sure that it works out for them as the game progresses. They need to potentially push that bot lane out even more, keep being aggressive on the second tier turret, or switch towards the top side. But if you do that, Kevin could potentially get the farm and become this immovable object that he seems to always do on a Shen.
So, No and Corralius are still pushing up here in this bottom lane. They're going to keep things going from that side. Question is, what are SK going to do to stop this one? Because right now, Kevin is not really able to do anything on his own to stop that from happening. He's taking some harassment, and finally the bear is going to come across here to stop that from happening. There was a trap down there, which will give Hercubot's position away here in a second once he comes through. But up until now, No and Corralius doing a great job. They are 6-7 CS ahead here. The AD carry sends a second trap down by No. As the bear actually coming around the side. There's a flash engaging, and Corralius in trouble. He will flash himself over the top of the wall, and with the Ignite burning, though, will survive. Great job
against Authority right there. Because they took that bottom turret so quick, they still had a couple of wards left to take with them towards the second turret, so they were able to apply some pressure there. And also knowing where Hercubot was in that middle lane really gave them the opportunity. But in the meantime, we do see against Authority going for this Drake right now. Virtual doesn't have a Madrid's Razor on him, but we do have Caitlyn Lulu coming in from the side. This should be a very early first dragon for against Authority.
Yeah, we've seen Diamond Prox at, I think, 3 minutes into the game with Udyr trying for a dragon or taking the dragon on his own solo. This time he's got obviously a lot more help a little bit later on into the game, and that will be the dragon for against all authority. And look at that gold lead already, 2,300 gold. 2,000 gold. If I could count, sorry.
That's all good. I mean, in the top lane, this turret could go down, so the gold lead won't be as big, but if you see Caitlyn Lulu head up there and save that turret, it's going to give against all authority such a huge advantage. Freddy122 was able to keep up and farm with Kevin, and it's all going to depend on how useful Kennen will be as the game progresses. That ultimate is so devastating. It really can lock you down and get the stuns in, but if he doesn't build a Zonius for it, he can get just destroyed.
And we'll see what he decides to build up here. He is recalling currently, and he's going to go Doran's Blade in there and an Amp Tome as well. So obviously relying on the AD damage here early on in the game.
Oh wow, No. Going back, picking up that BF sword. I wouldn't be surprised, because we've seen Wings of Death in North America, and I know Jack can probably back me up on this. He used to build, if he went Kennen top lane, he'd always go with like a Doran's Blade or two, just so he can last it a little bit easier, and also harass, and then he would go straight into AP right after that, and really become a strong force. But we haven't seen Kennen at all in Season 3, besides AD, and I think there's a reason for that, and we're going to see it as this game progresses.
Well, we'll have to find out. Against all authority here with 3 men inside of the middle lane. They may try and take their second turret of the game here. And to be honest, SK need to react to this one quickly. Finally, Ocelot's going to come around the side there. Gets slowed up by the Glitter Lance. Was lucky not to get stunned up by the trap as well. But either way, almost half of the health gone from that.
Yeah, and I love what they're doing right now because they're just starting to roam around as 3. They're keeping their jungler near them, keeping them up on levels, trying to keep them ahead of HercuBot. And they're applying so much pressure with this Caitlyn Lulu combo that's just so devastating. And you see, you know, Kennen in the bottom lane able to pick up some farm, then SK picking up that top turret just to get a little bit of extra gold and close this lead out a little bit. And it seems like Schlea is just... He's behind. I mean, I was going to say, kind of behind, but he really is at this point. He's already down 23 CS. He doesn't have a Brutalizer done just yet, as we see.
All the wards
in there.
All the wards in the bush. Well, they've got vision at least. That's one thing for sure. As SK here are going to be coming across. Starting off this blue buff once again. Of course, they had it on its first spawn. Can they do the same here again? Yes, they can. It's taken by HercuBot with the smite. And
against Authority reacting to this, they're pushing that middle lane, trying to get this turret down. They already have it down to below half health now at this point. Not sure if they'll be able to secure it away, but they are going to go for invade on the enemy blue here. And with Virtual coming around from the side, they should be able to secure it, having 4 members there. However, all 5 members SK actually looks like they're heading over towards the side just to stop it.
Yeah, Ocelot moving in here with HercuBot. Of course, HercuBot doesn't have the stun up as the 90 caliber net
nice.
Misses Ocelot there. He's going to be coming around the side, and they've managed to force them off.
And they're taking away that blue buff.
They're taking away the blue buff. I mean,
that's key.
But they've left a bit of the camp there. SK needs to fix that.
And they also will not have a timer on it either, since they don't have a ward there to spot it. They even invested a pink ward into that bush, but you're seeing SK right now over 3-man push on the middle lane, turning the aggression against Authority as they are going in for an engage.
Here we go, Freddy with the ultimate running, gets flipped back, but HercuBot stunned up. Shen gonna try and get in there with Stan United, will actually pull it off, and Virtual gets turned on. First blood picked up here for Candy Panda. Is he over up until now? No. There is the kill coming in towards Taric. Kevin just blocking the ace in the hole there to prevent Candy Panda taking damage. That leaves us at 1-for-1.
And I still think it's over at this point. They're going to push this turret. They want to take it down, and they should be able to do it on this wave. Candy Panda has that blue buff, has Buckshot, can clear waves very quickly, but against Authority has the damage they need to take this down if they want.
Yeah, pushing in there. Kevin gets polymorphed up and takes a couple of auto attacks for his pleasure there. They're close to having this tower away. I think this next wave, unless SK have got someone immediately incoming, you see there the collateral damage used by Candy Panda. Paul's out the Buckshot as well, trying to put as much damage in to stop them going in there, but in the end they can't manage it. Ocelot forced to use intervention on himself there, and there's the danger of the Zed already.
Yeah, that's going to be his... Oh, wow.
Oh, he's going to flash in for this one. He's burning here from the Ignite. Can he get the finisher? Slayer's going to take another hit from the turret. He dies in the end. Ocelot did a good job to bring the kill with him, but still, there we see how dangerous this Zed can be. He's actually caught up 10 CS here as well. It was a lot more than that just 2 or 3 minutes ago.
And he's behind in items too, doesn't have that Brutalizer down. I think if he had that, he could have killed Ocelot a little bit earlier and survived that. But you just saw how crucial the K ultimate's going to be when these fights progress. If he can keep using that ultimate onto the target that gets hit with the Z ulti, then he's going to prevent so much damage and allow them to keep fighting. Not to mention the heal, the double heal they have with that Taric, with that KO, never can go underestimated.
Here is Nif just headed around, and okay, so Blue Buff's not going to be respawning for a little while here. Nif does take that camp out, and you know, aAa did have a pink ward there, so they'll have seen Nif coming around the side. They'll not seen him actually kill the rest of that camp, but they can have a very good timing on that one, a pretty precise timing at least, is what I wanted to get out.
I just realized I said SK put that pink ward down, but against Authority did, just to keep that vision and to take away that blue. But I think you're right. I think they cannot see that camp is taken away just yet.
No, but with Nif going in there, it's like, okay, you can have 5 seconds on and it should be done.
Yeah.
So, against all Authority, then got 2 of the 3 outer turrets down. Can they get themselves a third? Slayer is heading towards that top lane where Kevin is currently farming things up. Let's have a look at the CS here, because honestly, it's not that big of a difference. There's a 5 difference between the AD carries. Middle lane has come back really close to just 3 CS now. We've said just big jungle, it's really close. The Kennen versus Shen is also within 5, so things very much close at this point.
And it looks like against Authority, that's a great job by them. But to push out that middle lane, just to shove that lane in, and because Dragon is coming up in about 5 seconds, it looks like they might be able to go for it, but the problem is, Kevin will have ulti up in about 20 seconds. If SK can stall long enough, they'll be able to turn this around, maybe pick up the Dragon, also maybe pick up a couple of kills.
Well, already kicked off here. Virtual does have Smite available. HercuBot doesn't have Smite if he even comes over here to get involved in that one. He is at the back of the team here as Ocelot coming in as well. Freddy We'll use that lightning rush to get away, but Dragon is going to be continued to be pressured here. SK taking it down quite low. Can they get in there? Freddy's going to ulti in. There's the wild growth coming in, and Freddy may just end up dying from this one. Dragon picked up by SK Gaming. Corralius the focus. He will die, and they're going to have to flash all over the place here. There is a flash for Kevin, who can use that Stan United to get involved here if he so wishes. Nono taking auto attacks here from Grave. The exhaust comes down. There is a kill. Can they get onto Freddy? No, they decide not to. Well, that was 3 kills for nothing, plus the Dragon for SK.
Great turnaround by them. Gives them the goal lead in the end, too. And in the top lane, we saw Kevin actually, he didn't ulti in because he didn't need to, but he also almost 1v1 Schley all by himself, took it down to about a third health. And that's just how dangerous Shen is at this point when Schley doesn't really have the items that he's going to need. He doesn't have a Brutalizer just yet, went for the Bilgewater instead. But SK, those 3 kills, that Dragon really gets him back in the game and gets him a nice chunk of gold. Not to mention, Candy Panda is now 3-0-1.
Yeah, 3-0 on dangerous Graves. We know previously in the LCS that he has had good times of it on Graves. See if that continues here as Ocelot just went back, picked up that Nash's Tooth. What else do we have? Seeker's Arm Guard and the Sorcerer's Shoes for Kennen. Over on the other side for Shen, got the Chain Vest plus that Giant Spell in there as well. So working his way up, surprise, surprise, towards the Sunfire Capers. Freddy comes into that top lane there. I think he's quite happy to let Shen go back. Actually will hit him there with the Shuriken. But it's just about wasting time really there for Freddy and making Kevin have to change positions before recalling.
I kind of like what Freddy's building into, because we talked about items a little bit, and he's going for a Seeker's Arm Guard, so he wants to go for Zonius, which you kind of expect on a Kennen.
Yep.
But it seems like they're almost depending on him to stun Ocelot to stop him from using that ultimate at the right point.
Oh, actually going head-to-head with him there. He does have that level advantage, and with that red elixir running as well, he may fancy his chances. Candy Panda may get caught out there. He's acing the hole, going through, and take about a quarter of Candy Panda's HP away with Nif and Hercubot around the side there. He was never going to be able to finish up for a kill.
Yeah, I mean, Candy Panda, Graves is just such a strong champion because of the armor. We do see also trying to go head-to-head against Freddy, but I mean, with that stun, with that lightning rush, he's able to escape anything right there. And against Althora, they want to go for a kill mid lane. They really want to keep shoving the mid lane as much as possible and get that turret, but this guy's doing a good job of defending it so far.
Yeah, I think they ended up going through a ward there in the end, which is why Nif wasn't having any of it. He figured out that they were coming through, but Kevin could be in trouble. Does have Stan United available here if he wants to get away, and he is going to use Stan United. Gets himself off, and where did he go in the end? He went to Volibear in the top side of the river.
Still, that was a big ultimate to commit away from SK, because now they know he can't really split push that effectively since he won't be able to get into these team fights. But as we saw from the last fight that happened at Dragon, against Authority, it doesn't seem like they're really in a position at this point to go head-to-head 4-on-4 or even 5-on-4.
Yeah, and against All Authority, going straight in onto this inner turret, there was collateral damage used, but to be honest, they were full HP, and I'm not sure if that was even worth it. They weren't going to budge with the Udyr in there, and obviously that Zed, the ones that really took the damage. Freddy as well is pushing out this top turret, so aAa really undoing SK on all fronts of the map.
I believe we have 3 unanswered turrets at this point as well, or no, just 2 unanswered turrets at this point when we see this one fall down. Actually, no, that is 3. Which is really huge for against Authority because it gives them that momentum. It really makes it so they're the ones to make the plays. They're the ones to make SK play defensive and react to them. And that's what you need to do against a split-pushing Shen, or at least a Shen who tries to split-push.
Yeah, we saw Caitlyn coming up to this top lane as well. Shen spotting him through that ward. Kennen just trying to get that stun off before they came through there to pull him off guard. Slayer thinking about going in on towards Candy Panda. Actually put himself inside of the brush, and as those minions go past, Slayer is going to come out, decides not to go aggressive there. Will be quite happy with the farm for now.
And he does have a nice chunk of money on top of it, so this extra farm is going to help him pick up, I believe, towards his Black Cleaver if he wants to go for that, but also get that Brutalizer, not Black Cleaver, sorry, Blade of the Rune King, but also the Brutalizer, which he's really going to need, especially against a team that has a Taric, because that armor buff that he gives his team, not to mention with the double healing they have, he's going to need all the penetration he possibly can get. And Nif actually investing in an early Oracle.
Yep, 16 minutes into the game. It's the first one we've seen up until now. That could indicate that SK ready to start making some plays here. But it's hard to see where they're coming from. I mean, SK have definitely not, up until now, had a bad performance, but against All Authority, the positioning that they've put into play here has been really nice for them. They've been taking turrets left, right, and center. They've got all 3 outer turrets down. That bottom inner turret has fallen as well. See that Freddy constantly pushing in this top lane as well, so we are going to see them going on towards Virtual. He's a tanky member as Wild Growth goes down, but it's not going to matter. That 4-man push is going to get them the kill, and to be honest, against Authority, can't even think about turning that one around. Nice one, nice pickup for SK. Freddy's still pushing though.
And that Baron Bear action, clearly the Russian Bear beats a Grizzly Bear. I mean, it's kind of a shame because he's just a stun bot once he does get into a fight, and with that Oracle, SK's been able to clear up their own jungle with wards and really prevent them from getting strangled in terms of losing out on all this gold. But now with getting that kill into him, getting just getting their team together and start team fighting is really allowing them to push these turrets down. That is the first one in quite a while for them. And Kevin's still at that top side, has his ultimate coming up very shortly. And SK, looks like the momentum just shifted in SK's favor.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup for them, denying the vision of that middle lane as Freddy again will lightning rush himself up towards that top side. Dragon is available here in just 15 seconds time. As I just heard an ace in the hole there. Was that on towards Graves? Yeah, on towards Candy Panda, who, to be honest, he's got a Bloodthirster. It doesn't even matter. He just regens it all back up, and Slayer dives in there. Gonna get stunned up. Can they get the damage down onto him, though? They're hitting Virtual as well. Shen gonna join in. Where's the taunt gonna come onto? Virtual. Candy Panda picks up another one. He is now 4-0-2. And doing really well to get himself fed here as Graves. SK back simply away for the Dragon.
Fantastic job by Osler right there, really using that ultimate to its full effectiveness, able to keep Candy Panda alive completely. We did see Schleia finally get some farm, finally actually surpass Ocelot, but it doesn't matter. It's getting shut down completely, picking up that Dragon, a lot of gold. Kevin gets back up to that top lane to defend that turret as well, and SK looking so strong right now.
Look against all Authority here, they're not messing around. They think that they can have this top turret away. They've seen Graves down on the bottom, an inner for an outer turret, a good trade any day of the week. Minion Wave coming in there as well to help them out. Turret below half. Kevin needs to be careful that they don't actually just dive onto him here. That could be a dangerous scenario. So they get the taunt now on towards Freddy, and here they go. They're going to turn it in, but with Ocelot coming in, they decide to turn around. Freddy going very, very low. They turn it on towards Ocelot though. Stun comes on towards Slayer, who will fall. Nice play from SK. Totally baited there by Kevin.
Also, yet again with that perfect ultimate, able to save Kevin's life. They defended that turret, and they even got that bottom turn on top of that. So SK is just still, they're keeping the aggression. The momentum shift that we were talking about earlier has gone full swing in SK's favor, and now they're looking to be aggressive on this top lane. And actually, I think the blue buff they're going to be heading for very shortly because it is up, and there is no tier 1 currently in the top lane.
Yeah, that blue buff started off here by No-No. They're going to stick a ward in there. Actually, he's going to stun him up with Lulu coming in from the side, but it was all about Hercubot, who could have maybe charged in there for that one. There is blue buff, going to be smited away by Hercubot. And again, against all Authority, haven't really had blue buffs. SK have completely starved them of that.
Well, at least luckily for them,
they've got 2 energy champions.
Exactly,
so,
but
yeah.
still, that's a lot of experience they're missing out on, and Udyr can always benefit from that, switch stances quicker, be able to not worry about mana, especially on the earlier levels, but SK is doing a great job controlling them. They did that to them a lot, actually, in the Week 3 match when they played, Week 4 match, where they just completely shut them down when they're running a poke composition, and we've seen SK do it in the Season 2 regional qualifiers versus EG, we've seen EG do it back at them, and they've seemed to have mastered this and really started to focus on this ability to just starve them of buffs.
And that Graves, he's going to be dangerous, Candy Panda. 4-0-2. He's got the workings of that last Whisper in there. He's got the workings of the Phantom Dancer in there. That Bloodthirster is already done and on its way to being stacked, if it's not already by now, to be honest. As Ocelot here just taking away the jungle. This is going to be an interesting time now to see what the next move is from both sides.
And I want to go back to when we're talking about the picks and bans. You asked me towards the end, who do you really favor in this composition? And I had to say SK because the comp that they picked, I think they really outpicked against all Authority. And with that Zed being locked in, they completely did, because you're seeing the only person that can really, or that really can focus is either Ocelot or Candy Panda. If you focus Candy Panda down, he's gonna get ulted by Kale. If you focus Ocelot down, he's gonna get ulted by himself. And so allow Candy Panda to just get free reign over you. They really have no answer for the tanky lineup that SK is shoving in their face.
And SK talking about shoving in their face and pushing down this middle lane now with 4 men. Shen on the top, Stan United available for Kevin if he decides to get involved here. And he may just about save this turret. No, not quite, with a siege minion in there. Go on and keep a hold on it. And that will be turret number 5 for Against All Authority, but they are still behind in gold and in kills.
And we do see items, they haven't really developed too much. They're getting behind not just in terms of gold, but now their items are just falling further and further behind. We see the Bloodthirster done on Nona, but Candypan has had that done for a while, so has Caitlyn, but looking over towards Kennen, that's the big thing. Freddy122, 141 CS, has 1 assist, but has no real item completed at this point. And we do see Schley, okay. Not really getting caught right there since he does have that W, but Freddy122 doesn't have the items he needs. He needs that Zonias to be able to get in there, but even at that point, he's just gonna get focused down right after he gets out of that.
Yeah, definitely will. Very, very squishy, of course. As we see SK continuing to push out this middle lane. Kevin trying to work his way through in that top lane as well. Be interested to see him go head-to-head here, Freddy and Kevin, to be honest with you. Let's see, still, SK are pushing through on both sides as Kevin looking like he may go for the engage here on towards Freddy, and he's going to force a lightning rush to try and get away, but here comes Hercubot. There is the ultimate use, but it just doesn't last long enough. There's the finisher. Hercubot is now on a killing spree at 305 with the bear.
And off that, SK could probably go for a push on this mid or top lane. Kevin still going for that split pushing, and see, against Authority, trying to go for an engage right there, but with the rest of SK coming in from the side, there's nothing they can really do. And it looks like they will have to concede at least 1 turret here with Kevin on the top and the rest of the members of SK on the mid. Yeah. And not to mention the bot lane. Look at how big of a wave is pushing up against them.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see SK try and finish off here with their next wave pushing in and then push down. We can see that Zed has already left to go to bottom. Once they spot that Slayer is down there, that surely opens up the floodgates in this middle lane.
Yeah, especially since, well, with Assault
there we go. Flash engage coming in. They're going to go for Corellius. He's flipped into the team. Wild Growth on himself. Won't do anything there. Candy Panda unstoppable. Picks up kill number 5 of this game as they focus around onto Nono. He will use the cleanse. Virtual trying to get in there to get those stuns down as Kennen joins the party as well. Zed's going to come in from the side. They get the stun on towards Freddy. Ocelot going to use the ulti on himself. Freddy, is he going to die there? The Ignite ticking away. He just about survives. Shen coming into the party as well. And they are going to finally shut down Volibear. Nif going to have to back away here. Nono doing a lot of damage to him. 90 caliber net comes out. But look how low the health is for everyone there. And there were only 2 kills from that.
And the stacking of ultimates they used, you saw Asa use his ultimate on himself and then the Shen ultimate to come in as well just to keep him alive, getting that little bit of extra buffer. Able to pick up 2 turrets off of that now, and SK back in with quite a bit of gold. Candy Panda 5-0 into. We talked about how good his Graze is. He's showing it this game. Why?
And they backed away because Dragon is coming up here as well, but, 2 low HP. I'm not sure that they could really stand and fight with Against All Authority. They're trying to recall Ward down on top. Oh, that was real close. That was a strange sound that just came out of my mouth. I don't know where that one came from. But Against All Authority, they got that Dragon timer, and they're going to be able to have themselves a Dragon. Nothing that SK can do about this one.
I think in the end they'll be happy about it. They got 2 middle turrets. They have the open inhibitor now. They could potentially go for a Baron with Nif picking up that Oracle. Against Authority, they're going to be able to pick up a blue here, but like we were talking about before, 2 energy champions, not really going to benefit you too much.
Well, it's still nice as well.
Yeah.
And it's better than having SK have it, that's for sure, which is what's been happening quite a lot up until now. If we look what Candy Panda's got finished up now, actually not going up towards Phantom Dancer, he's going to go for the Shiv.
Yeah, nice little item to help him split push a little bit. We have actually seen Genja quite a bit pick up the Average Blade as one of his first items, and they go for that 6% ruined lifesteal. But it seems like that's kind of fallen off a little bit. It's going to help give him that little bit extra pushing power. Also, AoE damage in these fights when he already does so much AoE damage with the burst he has. He's just becoming unstoppable at this point, and with the team that he has backing him up, with the double heals, the K ultimate, like I was saying before, he's pretty much impossible to get to.
So we're 25 minutes in here. Kevin actually down on the bottom side of the map. He knows that No is there as well. Doesn't look like he wants to go head-to-head, but look at the ward coverage that SK have got on that bottom side of the Against All Authority jungle. They've got pretty much everything on lockdown. Nif running an Oracle is going to be clearing out everything that Against All Authority had put down, including on this top side, which of course, even more important at this point with 26 minutes gone. It's time that a Baron could be done.
Especially when you have that ultimate from Shen up now. So you have the ability to split push. Kevin has the coverage on that bottom lane to keep pushing in. If anyone does come down there to send multiple members to stop him from doing anything. But then you have the Oracle on Nif, not to mention the Boots of Mobility, because he's been roaming around quite a bit, really clearing up the vision that they need to get into the enemy's territory. And actually, Kevin heading back towards the top lane. He's 0-0-4 at this point with 200 CS, but look at his items. He's just so damn tanky.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you bang on the mark with that one. That is the point that they have. That's Zonya's finish, though, by the way, which may add something in there for Freddy. We'll have to see about that one as the flip comes in. Corralia's stunned up. They've destroyed him. Well, what can Freddy do here? He's going to ulti in there. Where's his Zonya's coming out? Didn't even use it that time around, but maybe next time, eh, Freddy? As they push around here, slow onto Virtual. Couldn't quite follow up with that one, but 2 kills for nothing, and Candy Panda pushing this bottom lane out. That's a win-win scenario for SK. In fact, they're going up towards Baron here, maybe.
A little bit interesting move on their part. I'm pretty sure they don't even need him to do that, and he can keep split pushing, but, you know, not knowing where Zed is, not knowing if his ultimate, it's obviously going to be up, but not knowing where he is, they could really shut him down. Looks like things are going down on him as well, but Baron should easily be taken right now. It looks like Nif might have even walked past that ward.
Yeah, and just click on Freddy for me. Did he actually use it earlier, and I just messed that one up? No, he just didn't use it, okay. Yeah, obviously, either forgot about that or quite timed what was coming in there with the damage, more likely from that one as the smoke screens come here from Candy Panda. Baron, is he going to get finished off? It's down to 4,000 HP. Virtual going low. He will charge away. 2,500 HP left on Baron. SK going to pick that one up. Are they going to turn around and fight? Yes, they look like they want to here. Look at that. He's a fast grizzly bear running in towards Virtual. And in the end, well, he's a bear as well and runs away.
And that Baron going to give them just that much more pressure to push down this lane. They still have the middle inhibitor open. It's been there for about, I think about 8 minutes now. It's just been completely open, but they still have that top wave pushing in. They have the bottom wave, which is getting pushed against them, but when they get this inhibitor, it won't matter in the end. And SK looking very strong to, you know, pick up at least 2 inhibitors here, or at least take the rest of the outer turrets.
This could be very interesting now. Freddy gets stunned up there by Nif. Inhibitor gonna be taken down. Bottom lane surely is the next target.
Okay, I'm about to say.
They had an oracle there. It's like, I've got a great idea, guys. Let's set a trap right here. There's a ward. Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the trap, Joe.
It was a half trap. So, inventory on the bottom lane. They do not care that there are no minions there. They're just going to tank straight through that one with Hercubot. That'll be finished off quick enough. Ocelot going to go back, get himself the farm of that big wave that was pushed out there. Kevin is gifted with the kill of it. And with Caitlyn going to this top side, SK surely will see that and keep going.
Yeah, I love that you pointed that out because it's such a huge mini wave. It's a real, challenge for against Authority. It's either miss out on the entire wave or defend this bottom lane.
Yeah, so they were recalling there. They saw Caitlyn come into this top side, and they came back in. What a slow coming out of Corralius there. Actually stopped them getting the fling on towards Freddy, but will it be enough here to stop them actually picking up this turret? It's already taken around about a quarter. The stun comes in, but onto Kevin. That's not the target they want. He gets polymorphed up as well. SK forced to back away. Ooh. Look at the burst coming out there already. And a quarter of Nono's health just disappears from the health bar, and there is the turret going down. Second inhibitor of the game will surely follow. Or are they going to keep going through here? Ocelot is doing a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage to his Freddy. Is he going to get flung over? Yes, he is. He is destroyed. No Zonya's used again this time around. Kevin gets a good taunt off onto them. Corralius is low. Virtual is dead, and Corralius now going to be chased. He gets another slowdown onto Hercubot, who's actually tanking up both Nexus turrets at this stage. He's a very armored bear at this point, and there's another good taunt coming in from Kevin after flashing in there, and they are going to take at least one Nexus tower from this. Stan United comes down along with the Kayle ult. He didn't really need to do it, as Ocelot will take out Caitlyn. Second Nexus turret will fall. The Nexus itself will be focused, and SK Gaming going to pick up a victory here against All Authority.
Well played by SK overall right there. They were losing a little bit early on, but were able to hold on long enough, knowing they had the stronger team comp as the game did progress. And great job by them just to know when to group up, because they've always had that problem of knowing how to finish games. And they showed right there. They've been working on that, and they proved that they can finish games.
Yeah, strong performance. 30 minutes, let's call it 31 minutes after that one. A strong play, especially from Candy Panda, who ended 9-0-4 in his grades from that one. We're going to be going over to the analysis desk to break everything down here. Jat, of course, will be sitting there this time with a different guest. It's Hosan from Dragonborns.
Thank you very much, guys. You can see SK walking across the stage. They're very happy about this one. Ocelot showing off his crowd control a little bit as they give against All Authority the handshakes. They had to, unfortunately, upset the home crowd once again, but there's Nono always smiling. And Hosan, what were your initial thoughts on that game?
They had a great idea with Caitlyn and Lulu. It was seen many times. They just pushed. the turret, they get break. It was really good. But then it just folded. Like, they kept catching them. They had much control over the map. It just seemed like after the break, when they lost the team fight, when Virtual died and Freddy died as well, they just kept getting over and over again, like caught so many wards from SK. And it just went to so much advantage with not really many turrets picked. So after they got so much advantage, they just picked more turrets, they get more advantage, and just finished the game like so much combo. Like Harry, Graves, and Kale, it just one-shots anything. So that's what happened, and that's all.
Yeah, so I mean, you talk about how Against All Authority had the turret pressure in the early game, but then it really turned around on them, mainly in the teamfight phase, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. They could just Graves, Tariq combo anyone, but here came Kelly as well, so they didn't even need full combo to do that. They could just one-shot 2 people at once.
So we have the replay up of the Dragon fight where it really turned, if we could go to that. And Hosan, this is the point where Against All Authority was ahead in the game. They go for the Dragon around 12 minutes. If we could go into the replay, please. SK is grouped up around, and you were mentioning the low health of Virtual and just from tanking the Dragon. And what are their mindsets right now, thinking about whether to fight or not?
Yeah, as we can see, they are 2k ahead. They have more turrets, of course. There is Shen fighting Zed, so Shen can ulti because Zed can just stop it. He didn't because he didn't need to, but the thing is that Virtua is really low. Fred is in kind of bad position, so I think he will use E and just can't use it later. Yeah, but the thing is that they were low, Drake was low too, and they should poke or just try to steal it, not engage. And the Lulu ulti was
But they
really
engage
late.
right here.
Yeah, they engage here, and they get full combo from Tariq and Graves. And the thing is that Lulu ulti was kind of late. So it pushed like 1 person or maybe 2, even after they died.
Right.
So Karalius came in, he died as well, and they just killed Caitlyn afterwards. They got so much advantage on that they could just catch anyone, kill him, get turret, do the same, just put more wards and do the same again and again.
Because you wanted to talk about like the Tariq Graves combo killing them and the Lulu ult being late. Like in that fight, if they initiated and the Lulu ult popped up right away, would that have even been enough? Or were they just so far behind in that team fight, just composition-wise? Virtual was really far behind on Udyr. Did they even have a shot at going in on that, or did they just, like you said, have to steal?
They should steal, and afterwards they might think about engaging. If one of the players from SK hesitated after they stall, maybe someone would back off a bit. Then it would be better position. But the thing is that they were quite low, they were in bad position, they just went in and got bursted. Then Lulu ulti was kind of useless.
Right. So after that point, SK got a lot of the goal back, they started to get their towers going, and you were saying they get caught. And if we go back to the replay here, you can see why Against All Authority was still getting caught. And we were tracking this throughout the entire time. The number of wards, potentially maybe even over-warding they went, because here, if we go to the replay, we get to see 12 wards on the map.
13.
Just look at the mini-map. Yeah, Hosan's better at counting than I'd have, but just look at the bottom of the mini-map here. I'm actually on SK's vision right now. This isn't the global vision, that's the global vision of the map, but that's how much they got to see here. Just
almost the same.
Everything was warded. It doesn't even matter what happened after that, because they had the game over-warded there, and like you said, they just picked them off over and over again and didn't make it a close game.
They had low chances because of the combo, and they just added wards to that, so they had almost no chances, because no matter what they did, someone wouldn't get the combo, he would die, that would be 4v5, and they still have Kaylee to counter that. They have Kaylee to just save someone. They have Shen to save someone as well. There was like immortal people fighting with two-shotting people. Like at the end we saw like Ocelot can two-shot anyone, Graves is critting for 600 or something on tanks. So it was just too much advantage.
All right, let's take a step back from this game just a little bit and talk about SK a bit more, because they're the third-ranked team in the European LCS right now, and they have been inconsistent in times. What do you guys do to prepare against SK? Like, what do you think they do as a team that you're able to prepare for?
We just were trying to do something with Raven at first, of course. Well,
course, Draven.
now it's perma-banned in every match we do, so it's kind of sad that we can't play it. But what we did against SK is that some people have low champion pool.
Okay.
We just tried to like ban one maybe, one pick.
So who on SK has the low champion pool that you're trying to ban out?
We know that they almost always try to pick Taric.
Okay.
Taric is really OP with the armor penetration and his combo as well. Right now, on this patch, he's such a high damage out of nowhere. Like you just W ulti or ulti W, and it deals half HP even if you're a support. So we were trying to take that from them. As well, we know they play volley. We were banning it. We were maybe picking Kaylee. I don't really remember. It was like first few weeks.
Okay.
But still, the thing is that we could have just done outpicks, and that was pretty much okay if we did our stuff.
So, I mean, you talked about SK Gaming. Obviously, with Nif going there, he had the Taric. They were able to get that. And with the support, I mean, the MVP of that last game was probably Candy Panda. He was the one who got really farmed on Graves, and he really just got going.
Yeah, he got the most kills. He got the most farm. There was so much global gold as well. If you added that all up, at I think minute 20, maybe, he had 4k gold more than Udyr, or 3k gold.
Yeah.
It's a full blood Trister more than Udyr. So he could even 1v1 him easily, but he didn't need to. So they just went like with Taric and killed anyone they wanted.
All right, so on the topic of AD carries as well, though, you talked about Draven, and I'm going to have to, a quick question here. What is your favorite thing to do on Draven? You're talking about triple axe spinning.
Yeah, triple axe spinning is cool if you can do that. You just have two axes.
How do you do it?
You throw one, so you can use second one. So one is flying when you have two. You throw the second one, the third one just falls on you, and you have two again, one way while one is in air. It's kind of cool. It's like almost impossible to use that for more than 2 seconds, but you just try to use it as much as you can. Just hope that it will fall on you, and you will get this lucky 2000 damage.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get to see you playing Draven at some point in the future. Maybe they'll forget to ban it, or you can just get super, super powerful on 4 other AD carries and make those get banned. But thank you very much for joining us, Hosan. Now, let's send it over to Shox, who is standing by with Candy Panda from SK.
Yes, I'm here with Candy Panda. Candy Panda going legendary, but against All 30 threw out something special. They had like an old school cannon. They had Udyr in the jungle, something we don't see often. So how did you strategize against that?
Well, we didn't strategize against it because we banned out Jarvan, or they banned out Jarvan, Nasus, and then we picked Shen and Taric. So they didn't have any jungler left, so they had to play Xin Zhao or something else. And Xin Zhao got nerfed, so they had to play Udyr. It was really good for us.
You played Graves and you were going to be up against Caitlyn, which gives you kind of a range disadvantage. Is that why you lane swapped, or?
We lane swapped because on blue side you have the golems, which give you a lot of advantage. So we swapped on purple to get the golems on purple side. And we could also invade the blue buff at level 1.
Okay, Candy Panda, real talk. You guys, you're a good team, but it doesn't always go as good. Realistically, do you see yourself in the top 2 in a couple of weeks? And if not, do you think you got what it takes to beat teams that are up and coming like Alternate and Meteor Makers?
Right now, I think Gambit and Fnatic are top 2 easily. In the future, we can be top 2 if we fix our problems. And for the season end, we will probably be able to handle MIM, Alternate and stuff.
Okay. Finally, how are you enjoying the atmosphere here in the Zenith Arena and the crowd?
It's awesome. It's really awesome. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Candy Panda. Before we go to a short break, a reminder for our Twitter question. If you could choose an MVP for the LCS, both EU and right now, who would it be and why? Tweet your answer at LOL eSports, #LCS. And after this break is going to be a great match with both teams who are in full form, the Copenhagen Wolves and EG. Evil Geniuses versus the Copenhagen Wolves coming up next.
Thank you very much, guys. Welcome back. I am still joined by Hosan, and before we get into our next game, which is going to be Copenhagen Wolves versus Evil Geniuses, we had a Twitter question earlier that we asked you over at LOL Esports. So the question was, if you could choose an MVP from the LCS, EU and NA right now, who would it be and why? So the first response we got was from @LegendSkull94. He said, my MVP would have to be Fnatic xPeke. He has played next to perfect for the most part and made so many plays for his team, #LCS.
Yeah, Peke was showing us many Katarina plays, many Z plays. The thing is that he always plays a champion that can just jump on the carry, kill him and jump out, that can split push. He has shown that he can use teleport very well. He had done it on Katarina really much. We were even thinking about banning Katarina, but we decided that he won't pick it, and he didn't. Well, he took Z. It wasn't too good either. Yeah, but Peke's specialty is just being an assassin and using the split push and teleport so well.
Yeah, and every team we talk to talks about how frustrating it is to play against xPeke and just Fnatic in general, because you can never really get your hands on him, right?
Yeah. The game we played today, there was one moment when I just died to him. It was particularly because someone didn't come or something, but the thing is that Zed and Katarina can just burst almost anyone, and they can just run away. So that's what happened. They took, I think, one inhibitor with that, or just one turret, but it's still like 1,500 advantage, so yeah.
So the next response we have is from @Giels, and he said, Krepo is definitely MVP. He always carries his team with his epic thresh plays. His hooks are so game-changing, and that's very, very true. Like we were talking earlier about the bans that Evil Geniuses gets in. It's always against Froggen, so it's like Anivia, Lux, and probably Zed for Wicked, and that just leaves Thresh for Krepo, which other teams might not have as much luxury. Another one of the responses we had was @LiquidIT, and he'd say, I'd pick Bjergsen, because ever since he came back, he has allowed Wolves to go from their 0-9 start to 4-11. Since that's changed to 5-11, what do you think about Bjergsen?
With Bjergsen, they have played really much as team, so they're better than they were with Kotard. They are more used to him. The next thing is that they can speak their own native language, because now they are 5 people from Denia, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there are 5 people from Copenhagen, that area around.
Yeah,
They
well,
definitely all have the gaming house there.
They have the same
Yeah.
country they come from, so they can just speak their own language. And that's really helpful. Like, Gambit is the same, they speak their own language. It's much easier because if you speak English, it's not your native language.
Is that what you guys do on Dragonborns?
Yeah, it sometimes happens to be like not so good, but it's not a big problem, but it still helps. So they are still better as a team overall because they played more with Bjergsen. And the thing is that his Syndra is so strong. He did the first Penta, I think the second Quadra, because the first one his as well.
Right.
So he has like 1 Penta and 2 Quadras on his account with Syndra only. And it's like so OP.
Yeah, so thank you guys very much for those Twitter responses. We will get back to more of them at the end of the show. Continue tweeting us @LOL Esports with the #LCS. So, Hosan, I want to talk to you a little bit about your AD carry playstyle, because you have one of the most crazy aggressive playstyles I've seen. The thing I noticed is when you're playing Ezreal, so many times you will use your arcane shift to harass, but every other Ezreal I've seen usually just walks up, uses their Qs, and then saves the arcane shift to go back. Why do you use your arcane shift to harass, and how do you know when to use it?
It actually deals so much magic damage. So you deal auto attack and the Q damage as normal armor one. And with E you just harass with magic damage. It's kinda useful because most of the bot lanes don't have magic resist, right?
Okay.
The thing is that I just feel it, and I know when the jungler is top lane or mid lane, or I know when enemy support is misplaced a bit.
Right.
So I can do that on AD, or on support if AD is misplaced, and they can do much. And even if they do, after I do this, they're just too far or just split, and they cannot follow up to kill me.
So what would you consider, you say the supports are kind of like misplaced. What would be a misplaced support? When do you know, like obviously if the jungler is top or mid, you know they're not bottom lane, so you keep the clock in your head from there.
Yeah.
But support being out of position, what in specific are you talking about there?
I mean that if he's out of his spell range, and you E in, he still has to come.
Okay.
He might miscalculate because it's so like... you just do it out of nowhere, so he doesn't know that it would come, and he maybe can even use his spells wrong because he's like, oh, that happened, let's cast a spell, but you're still out of range.
Okay.
Or he will just have to come first, or he will do it wrong because you can even bait it like this. You just E in, people use some spells on you, you can ulti while you are stunned as well with Ezreal because it's a cast, so if you start casting, people just stun you and you still cast it. So you can do so many things with it, it's just awesome. And it's like almost all AD carries have their aggressive things. Like with Caitlyn, you can just jump into people with net instead of out of people.
Do you do that often?
Not so often.
So
but I do that.
With your Ezreal play and your Draven play, honestly, every AD carry you play, you probably decide to go crazy aggressive, right?
Yes.
What champions give you the most problems? Like Malphite, for instance, gives tons of AD carries a bunch of problems. Who are the champions that give you the most problems? Like, how do you deal with, say, a Malphite?
Yeah, Malphite is hard. You need to flash out of his ulti. You need to, or E with Ezreal or anything like this. You have to position really well. But there is this thing that if they have the Randuin or stuff like this, you just have to stay out of range. If he uses it on your front lane, then you can go. But if you just go in and he slows you, you just do nothing for the whole team fight and your team loses.
Okay, so that is some awesome insight onto your AD carry play, where the support is at, how they're out of position, when you want to go in, and also how to deal with Malphite, who is a tough one. But we're ready to go on the stage with our next games.
Yes.
So Shocks, take it away.
Yes, time to introduce our teams here. First up, they started the season as the underdogs, but how the times have changed. Give it up for the Copenhagen Wolves. And next up, Crepo impressed you with his French yesterday, but can he impress you with some support plays? Give it up for Evil Geniuses! I don't know about you guys, but I'm particularly excited to see these teams going head-to-head. So let's dive into the game with our casters, Tweaksaledge and Joe and Jason.
Thanks a lot, Shocks. Wolves versus Evil Geniuses, a game which could propel the Wolves with a victory into 5th position in the European LCS.
I'm not sure who thought that would actually be possible after the way they started out going 0-9, but they've played phenomenal now. They're 5-2, if I'm not mistaken, ever since they started winning, and they just look unstoppable.
Well, let's have a look at the two rosters that'll be going head-to-head in this one, starting off with Wolves on the blue side, with Nigod, Bro, Svensker and Bjergsen, the Tess and Deficio.
And over on the red side, Wicked, Snoopy, Froggen, Yellow Pete, and Crepo.
So let's take a look then at the key players for both of these teams, starting with the Copenhagen Wolves. We've picked out Svensker in here, the jungler.
Yeah, he's really surprised me over the past couple of weeks. His Jarvan play has been phenomenal. Even though he's been diving into the back lines, he's been always setting his team up with kills. He's really stepped up for his team, and he's really melded well with them as well.
And that is our key man for the Copenhagen Wolves. We'll see how Svenskeren does this time around. For EG, we've picked the top laner, Wicked, who has really found form in the last weeks.
Yeah, he has. And the first time these two teams met up, he actually played a Kali and really... Well, let's be honest, he actually stopped them pretty hard with his Akali, but he's always used to be a person that was camped by enemy teams, but now that he's had some final breathing room, even though he's going 1v2, he still always holds his lane, he's always solid, and he always plays well.
So then, before we get into our matchup and into Champion Select, we, as per usual, had to hear what the teams have to say.
A lot of hype in Wolves is going to Bjergsen at the moment because he's their star player, but he's playing these high damage AP mids, so he needs the support from their team. And I want to point out that Svensken's been doing a really good job zoning for him.
Well, I think EG is gonna go back to their former strength. I don't expect anything like really surprising or cheesing from them, but I just expect them to play like they normally do, which is really well, and they're very hard to play against.
I think we have to make sure that the jungler and the mid lane doesn't snowball. They have really good coordination between each other.
I think there should be a lot more focus on the supports, and Crepo is definitely doing his job. And if we manage to lane properly against them, it's fine. But we can also, like, one mistake against him and he will punish you really hard.
So we heard from Froggen there, they need to make sure that Svenskeren and Bjergsen don't get that snowball rolling into an avalanche.
Yeah, even Krepo mentioned that you can't, or Bjergsen likes playing these high damage AP mid champions, and you need to shut him down to really lock the Wolves down in the cage. But the Tess, I mean, he's been coming through lately. He's been definitely making some plays. Yeah, he's been definitely making some plays and really helping his team out.
In the cage. Really, Jason? It was good in the end. We've used that one before, though. But I think you use it, so I guess you're allowed to use it a second time around. So we are ready here to get into Champion Select, first of all. Before we see any bans, Jason, what are you expecting?
Okay, I expect a lot of bans.